All right, I'm Hayden, and this is my first speech for my online public speaking class. Here are my five audience members. All right, there. Say hi, everybody. All right. Soccer is the number one sport in America. All the countries across the world play it and recognize it as a beautiful game. It's recognized as the number one sport across the globe. I began to play soccer when I was only 5 years old, and I grew up loving the game. And when I was younger, I always wanted to grow up and be a professional soccer player or play in college like my uncle did. Um, the only country that is not really into soccer and doesn't acknowledge it as the number one sport in the country is America. And today I'm going to talk about all the growing pains that soccer went through in America and why it's not the top sport in America. Um, I'm going to use sources like soccerforparents.com, which talks about how soccer went through growing pains in the 1980s and how it reached the popularity it has today. Um, First starting out, soccer started off in colonies in Jamestowns and such. It came from England. England started really playing it professionally in the 1830s and started getting professional clubs over there. America didn't really start playing organized games of soccer until about the 1870s when Harvard and Yale started to have college teams and kind of played soccer and rugby, and they had like a mixture of the two sports using hands and feet. Um, in the 1880s, they finally got solidified rules for the game and got 11 aside and no hands, and really differentiated it from rugby. And the first soccer clubs started in Boston in 1862. In 1884, the American Football Association was formed and established the first United States national team. Um, During the middle period, it started growing in college, and children started playing soccer a lot more. In 1904, soccer grew a lot more popular in America because we won the Olympics in 1904 when we defeated the Italian national team, which no one expected Americans to do. In 1913, the United States Football Association was founded, and it established more rules regarding United States national teams and training for the national teams in America. In 1921, the National Association Football League started and was the first successful professional team. It started in 1913 and ran into financial problems in 1921. The American Soccer League formed in 1921, and it was on par with many of the different European teams, and a lot of the North American teams were able to compete with American teams. Youth soccer started growing a lot more popular in the 1970s because it was a lot cheaper for kids to play than football and other sports because you didn't need a lot of equipment to play. And soccer doesn't require a lot of athletic ability. You can be a lot slower and shorter than other players, but you can still be good at soccer if you have a good technical ability. Other sports needed a lot more athletically gifted players, like basketball needed taller and kids who could jump more, but soccer you don't really need to be in good athletic shape. You just have to have really good endurance and a good technical ability. In 1985, soccer reached a new low when all the professional leagues ran into financial troubles and they weren't able to get large crowds. So a lot of the leagues fell apart, and the only league that was left was the Western Soccer League. The MLS formed in 1993, and it has lasted until today, growing more popular. In 2011, there were 18 teams in the MLS, and it's drawing more and more crowds every day as America's bringing over professional athletes from Europe, like David Beckham and such. They are exceptions of the salary cap, and American teams are allowed to sign big European stars to draw more crowds to America. In 1994, the United States hosted the World Cup, and soccer really exploded in America. It was a lot at the forefront of a lot of people's minds because they were able to see the sport live and actually see how passionate some of the European fans are for their teams. Um, we reached the round of 16 in that tournament, which is the furthest an American team has ever reached in the finals. Today, the United States is ranked 28 nationally in the globe. Um, the sport is growing very fast here, but it doesn't have the popularity of the European teams do. Um, Now that I've discussed the history of North American soccer, I'm coming to the end of my speech. Um, we can see the growing pains that soccer has gone through and how important it is in American culture. Soccer can be very important if Americans realize what a beautiful game it is. It was very important for me when I was a young kid growing up, and I wish that American fans would act more like European fans and be as passionate as they are about their soccer. Thank you all for listening to my speech.